Sumerian tablet. Did you know that?
No.
The world's first
15 seconds.
15 seconds to launch.
Where's the other one?
Places, please. 5 seconds.
Adjust your mojo.
You are about to participate in a great adventure.
Now.
At age, 60? He's just gonna break bad?
Radio with an attitude.
This system that we love is broken.
I know that.
Do not comply.
Hey, mother.
Welcome to another 2 hours of common sense
That liberty and justice for all is a myth.
and erratic behavior.
You want to, but you can't. And when you do, you wish you didn't.
This is your Daily Mojo.
It certainly is. And, next time you have a really crappy flight, like let's say on, Spirit Airlines, if you really don't have a choice, just think about the husband and wife.
Wow.
Mitchell Ring and Jennifer Cullen were making their way from Melbourne to Doha when an unidentified female passenger next to them suffered a medical emergency in the aisle during the long-haul Qatar Airways flight and died.
What?
It was a 15-hour flight.
Oh, snap. They had to leave her on the plane. There was nothing they could do.
The couple was forced to sit next to the dead woman for the rest of the 15-hour flight. They tried to wheel her up toward the business class, but she was a large lady. They couldn't get her through the aisle. That can be a problem.
Wow.
The Australian couple who had two spare seats in their row of four said that the frustrated flight crew then asked them to shift over so they could prop the corpse up right next to them. They said, can you move over, please? I just said, sure, no problem.
Wow.
And they plopped her right down there in the seat next to him. They put the lady in the chair that I was in. They finally landed. The couple who were flying to Italy said that the airline crew told them to remain in their seats while first responders came to retrieve the body. That would, Qatar Airways said that they're in the process of reaching out to the couple in the wake of the ordeal. First and foremost, our thoughts are with the family of the passenger who sadly passed away on board our flight. We apologize for any inconvenience, or distress this incident may have caused. We're in the process of contacting passengers in line with our policies and procedures. I wonder what sort of a voucher you get for being forced to sit next to a dead woman.
For 15 hours, or however long it was.
Or even
How
if it
far
was
in?
90 minutes.
How far in did she die?
Doesn't say how far
Oh,
in,
okay.
but, I mean, what if it was 20 minutes?
Oh, yeah. I mean, same.
An hour, whatever. You didn't really sign up to be sitting next to a dead chick on an airline. But they'll probably get a couple of free flights out of it. So, there's always a silver lining. Egg crimes. Wow. Just seem to be online. I can't. That picture just. I mean, at least they covered her up, right? So you're not looking over and staring into her eyes.
Dude didn't look too out of shape. He was watching a movie.
No, there's nothing on that screen. He's just staring straight ahead so he doesn't have to look at her.
That's not his screen, dude. That's a screen.
How do you know?
That's a screen in front of her.
I'm telling you, there's nothing on his screen. He's just staring straight ahead, trying to go. I don't see. I cannot. There's no dead person. Up in Pennsylvania, in the meantime, there is an egg company called Pete and Jerry, or maybe it's Gary's, Organic Eggs. This happened a couple of days ago. The egg company was, they were heisted.
Oh,
they were victimized when one of their distribution trailers was burglarized. I guess we're going to show you now.
Hey, I have to guess at what you want.
I'll tell you what I want. You know what I want. Anyway, I guess we'll just tell you right now. So this is actually a grok representation of what 100,000 eggs in a parking lot would look like if you were to spread 100,000 eggs out.
Except those eggs are a
lot.
little pitted. They look like dinosaur eggs.
Have you never seen an egg straight from the factory?
Yeah,
They're freaky looking. They've got speckles and spots and
most of them are brown here, but yeah,
some poop.
Yeah,
a little bit of everything on there. The eggs were swiped outside the firm's headquarters in Greencastle. That's in the central part of the state. They've asked the public to contact them with any information about the theft or who might be trying to fence. You know how many 100,000 eggs? You know how many dozen that is?
I do not. It's
8,333 dozen.
It's a lot of eggs.
That is a lot. That's a lot of eggs that are out there. Keeping with the egg theme, and so I am. How do you fence 100,000 eggs? I mean, where do you go that people aren't going to? Aren't these the eggs that were stolen from? What is it, Glenn and Gary's or Pete and Jerry's? But they made ice cream. Aren't there going to be some questions? Or are you just going to keep them and eat them yourself? Because if you ate them yourself, that would take a while. Could be a cult. Meanwhile, in Georgia, 100 women there were kept as slaves on a human egg farm where they were fed hormones and treated like cattle. This was the group that was holding them, known as the Egg Mafia, revealed that they had been held captive by a criminal organization run by Chinese criminals. How freaky is that?
The Egg Mafia.
The Egg Mafia. The 3 women were rescued from the egg harvesting and trafficking scheme. In a million years, would you have ever believed that something like this existed?
No. No.
It's weird. They were rescued from
Isn't
the
egg harvesting of a female like that, isn't that a medical procedure?
If you're asking me if I know how to do it, no, I don't. So I'm guessing, yeah, you'd have to.
But I'll take a look. Okay.
By the way, it wasn't just in case you were wondering, it's not the state of Georgia, it's the
country.
Soviet Republic.
Gotcha.
Yes. Weird things happen in Georgia, in Atlanta, but not. I was going to say not that weird, but maybe there are some things. The 3 women were rescued from the egg harvesting and trafficking scheme. They were able to return to Thailand, according to the Bangkok Post. Newsweek reached out to Georgia's Ministry of Internal Affairs via email and the Royal Thai Police via a form on its website outside of business hours for comment. The harvesting and trafficking of human eggs is not new. European Parliament put forward a motion for a resolution titled the European Parliament Resolution on the Trade in Human Egg Cells in 2005 that condemned all trafficking in the human body and its parts and aimed to regulate egg cell donations, according to the official journal of the European Union. This could continue to be a growing issue as Georgia has no specific laws regarding surrogacy, although the government has said it's in the process of declaring it illegal. The Tbilisi government proposed a ban on commercial surrogacy, preventing foreign couples from accessing the service in 2023, according to Al Jazeera. So they were rescued after Pavina Hungsakula, the founder of the Thai non-governmental organization, the Pavina Foundation for Women and Children, prompted authorities to do so. They told the Bangkok Post that she learned about the women's enslavement from another victim who had escaped and returned to Thailand in September after paying the Chinese gang about 70,000 baht, which is roughly how much in dollars?
$6.
2,053.
Okay.
So close.
Yeah.
100 more trafficked women remain in Georgia, according to Reuters. So are these sold on the international market to people who want to have kids? Is this like a...
I don't know how that works. I mean, but that's what it sounds like, yes.
Like people who want to adopt? I mean, adoption is obviously it just seems like there are easier ways to get this done, that you shouldn't have to be kidnapping women and harvesting their eggs. Georgia's Interior Ministry wrote that up to 70 foreign nationals were interviewed. However, none of them, except for the 3 Thai women, had any complaints, and that the 3 Thai women explained that they no longer wanted to be surrogate mothers and stay at their residential address before being repatriated to Thailand. One of the women, who didn't disclose her name, spoke at a press conference in Thailand this week wearing a face mask and a hat, and said she responded to a social media ad for surrogate mothers who would live with families and be paid roughly $743 a month. She said that after agreeing and being transported to Georgia via Dubai and Armenia, 2 Chinese nationals took us to a house where there were 60 to 70 Thai women. The women told us that there was no surrogacy contracts or parents. The Chinese gangsters allegedly took their passports, then told the women that they risked arrest if they tried to return to Thailand. Apparently, after the eggs were harvested, she says they were sold and trafficked in other countries for use in IVF. This is bizarre. Libby Emmons, the editor of the Post Millennial, in a post on X, formerly Twitter. How much longer do we have to say that?
I don't know. We still talk about it as Twitter.
It's Twitter.
We did yesterday.
It's Twitter.
Yeah.
It's Twitter. It's always going to be Twitter. You're always going to tweet. I mean, was it who sent me the note on what Elon, he's owned X.com for like 25 years.
Yeah.
Which is why he renamed it X, because he had the website. Can't say that I blame him, but it's always going to be Twitter. This is what the unfettered fertility industry looks like. Thai women kept as slaves, human eggs forcibly harvested and sold in Georgia. Urgent help is sought for 100 Thai women forced into human egg farm in Georgia. The business would not have been allowed without the regime having an active financial share in it. I'm getting ever convinced that the Georgian dream are outright terrorists. This is really strange. It remains to be seen how Georgia will change its laws so that the instances of egg harvesting and trafficking decrease, and when the other victims will be rescued. So apparently there are still women there. There's some weird shit happening in this world. I just never thought that it would be that weird. If you want to be a part of the program, discuss any of the strangeness, we've got... We'll get to Ranger Brian here shortly. I am so tired of hearing about Ranger Brian. You would swear that people, and it does suck when you lose your job, but you would swear that people in government service, the government sector, whatever you want to call it, had never lost a job before. And maybe some of them haven't.
Or ever had to report what they were working on.
Right. I'm just losing my patience. Tech Golden Age Rue says, I was at Sam's Club in Cheyenne Sunday. They were out of eggs. The Kroger here in the DFW area, they were $7 and change.
Yeah.
For a dozen. And at Costco. And they're not cheap. Stinky Biscuit says, yep, you never heard about the illegal sperm farms. Thank you. Can't wait for 10 years from now when I try to figure out what the hell this post was about. Right? Best out of context tweet ever. Pickled Squirrel says egg harvesting in factory original females is an invasive procedure. Those poor women. I can imagine. I mean, because
that's what I thought. It was like a medical, had to be a medical procedure.
Well,
so
yeah,
they were forcing them
to
lay back, spread them.
Yep.
Stir them.
Yep.
And
yep.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they're the size of chicken eggs.
Correct.
They are from what I understand, I mean, I've never held one in my hand, but they're not very big. Wade Robertson says it would take my family and I about a week and a half to eat those eggs these days. The 100,000 eggs, not the right, yeah. We want to make abundantly clear. Deuce 5 says if I had to sit next to a dead person on Spirit Airlines, they might have given me a $2 discount on the fee for carry-on baggage as compensation. There's some weird stuff out there. If you're in the Daily MoJo chat room, thank you. Popular Settlers over there, Dr. Zoe knows. Pope Freebie the 38th. By the way, Freebie, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I just saw one of your emails from, I want to say it was November. Don't you, Ron?
Oh, no. I sent you emails back in November laugh. You haven't responded to either. So
don't you laugh. He not only sent it's a great email, but also it is a song that he wrote with the AI. And he mentions you in it, Ron.
Great.
It's called the Daily MoJo Hustle. You can take that one now. There you go.
Yo, Ron down in Texas trying to flip them bricks. Pimp tight alley, shadow play street tricks. Bending corner sharp, venom in the fix. Daily MoJo empty, change up the mix. Crack pipe, smoking dreams going up in flame. Ghost of old habits, don't wanna see that shame. Download slow while he's caught up in the game. Texan streets say forgiven, who's to blame? Download now, save Ron from that spree. Daily MoJo lifeline, set him free. One click away, don't let him flee. Old ways haunt, don't turn a blind eye. G. Panhandle pockets, lighter scroll spark. Flags flying half-mast, addiction's dark. Mojo's the shield, Ron needs that spark. Before the streets swallow him, quick, stock. Daily news feed, hot tea, keep them clean. Break them chains tight, life fresh and green. Top stories, local gories, a new scene. One app, one hope, prevent that lean. Download fast, Ron's future in your hands. MoJo breeds hope, not no junkie strands. Click to change fate, break them bands. Gotta fight destiny, hybrids and strands.
Right? I don't exactly know what a junkie strand is, but it doesn't sound good. So thank you, Freebie38, for sending that. I thought that would be nice, after, 3 months?
Save Ron from that spree.
You never know.
Yeah.
It could be a bad thing. If you've not downloaded the Daily MoJo app yet, do so at your earliest convenience. That way you can send us your notes, your concerns, criticisms, etc. Right there in the app. Probably the easiest way to get something to me or to Ron, mainly because, as you see, my emailing skills lack a little, Toby sent a note, says, you guys had another great show today. Ann Vandersteel was a great guest, too.
Fantastic.
Guest. If you missed yesterday, she is like a fountain of information that comes at you at light speed.
Yeah.
And we stripped the interview out of the program itself over on the Rumble. I think we did it on YouTube as well.
Yes,
but
sir.
You can watch just the interview if you. And I'm telling you, there is so much information in there. Not only about
we didn't have near enough time with her.
No, we didn't. We're going to have her back. She is. She's smart. They don't like her. They being the machine. They don't like her because, she speaks the truth.
Yeah.
And there's a lot in there about being a
nationalist,
a sovereign nationalist.
Sovereign nationalist, and she knows a lot about
it.
Yeah.
I would think so, because if you're not going to pay your income tax since 2021, they will come after your ass. Yeah. And I don't know. I want to have her back and just do at least have a discussion about how you become a sovereign national and not pay your taxes.
I feel
and not
like that's
end up
on the horizon
under
for
the
you.
jail.
I'm just asking.
It's fascinating.
Curious.
I mean,
It
I
is.
realize we have to have taxes. Again, it's the problem. The problem with our tax system is that it's corrupt as hell. They waste all of our money, which is what Dogie is all about. And who was it? One of the liberal friends over on Facebook. What were they saying? That they brought up the we've got to tax rich people more. So there are useful idiots out here that will continue to push that one, which I don't understand, but there's a lot of things I don't understand. If you want to save some money right now over at MojoMyPillow.com, it is a good time to do so. There's a closeout and overstock sale right now up to 80% off your favorite stuff. With the promo code MoJo50, you can get the all-season women's moccasin slippers for as little as $25. You can find, this is also a good time right now to get next Christmas's stuff, because you can get the My Pillow tree skirt for less than $20 and the My Pillow Christmas stocking for less than $13. Lucky 13. All you got to do is go to MojoMyPillow.com and use the promo code MoJo50 and get yours now. It's over at MojoMyPillow.com.
The Daily Mojo.
So the JFK, what's it called? It's the committee that was put together by Trump with Una Paloma Blanca and the rest of them,
Right.
to bring to light all of the JFK files and the Epstein files and everything else. And they posted something yesterday that hey, everything's set. We're gonna have a hearing in March. Things are going to be great. Then we're going to interview people who are on the Warren Commission and blah, blah, blah. And people are like, what? Okay, what? Stop with we're going to interview and we're going to have a committee. Just release the stuff.
Well, that's what General Flynn said. General Flynn said, just release it all. We don't need all of this fanfare.
This is the problem with government in general. And I don't understand why they're doing this. I don't understand why they are trying to do it the old-fashioned way when it's clear that people are sick of the old-fashioned way, and just release the damn files.
Well,
and why are they doing this?
It's my guess that they are now ruining the day. I don't know who they are, that they put Luna in charge of this, because she's pressing. I mean, she says, look, and she put out a post yesterday that said, AG Bondi, I haven't heard from you. Nobody's responding to me. Please, let's go with this. It's been 2 weeks. Come on. So she's posted it right on X.
You're saying that who posted that? And Luna posted it to Bondi saying what?
Saying, here, I'll find it for you.
But I mean, what she was saying, that Bondi is not doing what?
They haven't heard from the DOJ. They haven't heard from Bondi in a week or so. She's like, hello, what's going on? We sent you guys a letter a week or 2 weeks ago.
So is Bondi, does she has the files?
Yeah,
where are the files?
They're sitting on her desk. The Epstein list and the JFK, MOK, and RFK stuff.
Really?
Yes.
Why are they? So she has to send them.
She has to approve them. She has to, quote unquote, declassify them.
All right. So the headline is over at Fox. Bondi says Epstein client list is sitting on my desk right now. She's reviewing the JFK and the MLK files. What is she reviewing?
Here's the quote. Or here's the tweet, the X post, sorry. On February 11th and February 19th, House Oversight sent a letter to the DOJ asking for status on releasing the Epstein files as well as JFK, etc. The DOJ has not responded. Reaching out on X because we can't seem to get a response from the AG. At AG Pam Bondi, what is the status of the documents? These documents were ordered to be declassified. That was Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, posted that on X yesterday.
All right, so Bondi last week, or let's see, today is the 25th. This was on the 21st. She said it's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies. She was asked if she's seen anything yet, and she says not yet. And this is regarding the Epstein files. So she's reviewing the JFK, the MLK files.
Yeah.
Again, what's to... I guess there are... See, this is the problem with all this red tape horse shit. What is it that they have to review? I mean, they're 50, 60-year-old files now.
Yeah.
What sort of national secrets are they going to be revealing?
Well, didn't they just find like 2,000 pages that even the Warren Commission didn't get to see?
Yep.
That's what I heard.
But again, 60 years old, what could possibly be in those that would be a matter of national security today? The Director of National Intelligence, that would be Tulsi Gabbard, correct?
Yeah, yes.
And the Attorney General reached their deadline to release their proposed plan for the declassification of the files. The FBI announced shortly thereafter it had uncovered thousands of records connected to the JFK assassination. Axios says that the agency has released 2,400 records tied to the assassination, which were not provided to the board that reviewed and disclosed the files. Blah, 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 blah. This is the kind of stuff that people are sick of. And there were a lot of folks on the X who were saying, I'm just going to write this one off as a loss and move on. But this is not a good look. But are we being overly eager, and are we expecting too much as citizens of this here United States? Are we expecting too much for them too quickly? They have.
Well,
give them credit.
Look,
we've seen things move at warp speed over a Dogie.
Yep.
But what has the Department of Justice done? Is there? It could be that place is such a fustercluck that it's hard to get to anything. I don't know.
Well, look, will we ever see the Epstein client list? Probably not. And I hate that. I hate that I'm saying that because I'd love to see.
Why do you think that?
Because I think what's happening right now, again, my opinion, is you saw all the Google searches, right, for offshore bank accounts and all this other stuff. Yep. My guess is that they're all individually in some form or fashion reaching out to Bondi. Let's make a deal. Yep. Let's make a deal. And she's in the process. She's in the middle of making deals right now.
That makes the most sense, actually.
Look, what was it that somebody said about, somebody mentioned this on X the other day about the client list about to come out, and all of these news people are getting fired and jumping ship. Not that they tie together, but it sure makes you wonder in a vacuum.
You mean the news anchors?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Lester Holt?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not implying, I am. I'm not implying that Lester Holt was on Epstein's client list, but it sure makes you wonder because he's not the only one that's been canned over the last few weeks.
He stepped down.
Okay.
Well, that's the forward facing.
Yes.
That he stepped down. I think a lot of that has to do with the mainstream media and mainstream news is not bringing in the dollars it used to, and they don't have the money to pay these people. Dr. Free Range Prisoner says, real Brad Staggs, let's ask, why would Bondi not release the Epstein file to protect someone on it? Who would she protect? Connect the dots.
And in a vacuum, this is what we start doing. Yep. We start building conspiracy theories.
Clock Tower Drunk. Brad Staggs is not on the Epstein list because Brad would have talked Jeffrey Epstein to death. Would I? What does that mean? I would have talked him to death.
I don't know. You are a talker.
You don't know me very well. I do. In person, do I talk a lot?
That is, no, you do not.
So take that one and shove it up your rectum there, Clock Tower Drunk.
No, he does not talk very much at all in person.
I'm reserved.
Unless he knows you.
Unless
right?
we're at Waffle House.
Unless we're at Waffle House or a camera's running. Yes.
Right. Right. Never, ever get between me and an operational camera. Don't ever do that. You're putting your life.
And never ask
that's
Brad
not necessary.
to make a camera operational. Because, damn it. Too bad we
Who was
weren't
the-
filming that.
Hello, time
Too bad
out,
we
time
weren't
out.
filming that.
Wait a minute. Who was it that deleted the?
That was me, but
deleted
I
the
recovered
record?
it.
Yeah. Okay.
On my
I'm just
camera.
saying, you're in glass house. You're in a glass house. I wouldn't be throwing rocks if I were you. Now, we did eventually get the shot we were looking for. We needed a wide shot at Waffle House, which is in the process of being stapled together. So the real show was kind of behind the scenes. Pickled Squirrel says, I want the Epstein list before anything else, even the truth behind JFK, Area 51, etc. John Greystoke, has Bard been contacted by Bongino about taking over his show? Inquiring minds want to know. You know, again, what really is sad to me. Hold on a second. Breaking, JFK files are set to release February 29th, according to Jay Patriot. Thank you for...
Is this a leap year?
Clock Tower Drunk. I don't think... Oh, no. You're right. Thank you.
I was like, come on, Brad.
Yep, you're right. I was going to look. It's not a leap year, is it? No, it's not. But did you know if it was a leap year or not? Because... Stinky Biscuit says, no, we're not expecting things too quickly. When they said they would release things on day one, I expected day one, not day 473. All right. Yep. Fair enough. Fair enough. What was I about to say? I had something. Oh, here's what, the part that really disturbs me, I guess, about, and I thought the same thing when Rush Limbaugh died, that there was one guy who could have stepped into Limbaugh's chair and been legit. And that would have been Doc Thompson. Now, whether or not that would have happened had he not been room temperature, I don't know. But I know, I can almost guarantee you that at this point in time, the Bongino show would have had Doc Thompson in it. Because
they were
Bongino
friends.
was a
Yeah, they were friends.
huge Doc fan.
Absolutely.
And on more than one occasion asked Doc to come over to his platform.
Yeah. I remember.
Do a show.
I remember.
And this is before we ever went to the studio.
Yep.
So I can almost guarantee you that it would be Doc Thompson in that chair if he had not been jogging on that day. Some people will do anything, speaking of the JFK files, to get out of being interviewed by Anna Paulina Luna and the rest of them. Clint Hill, who was a Secret Service agent, has conveniently died.
So Clint Hill was the Secret Service agent who climbed on the back of JFK's car after he was shot in the head.
Yep. Imagine what he knew.
He has talked so many times about what he knew.
Conveniently, he dies just prior. I mean, sure, he was 93, but I think this is awfully convenient. He died peacefully at his home with his wife by his side. He was born in North Dakota, sworn in as a special agent in the Denver field office in 1958. And he served under 5 presidents: Dwight Eisenhower, Gerald Ford, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. His code name?
I don't
know what his code name was? Dazzle. He retired from the Secret Service 50 years ago after symptoms of what we now call PTSD. And his memoir was called Mrs. Kennedy and Me. Yeah. He was more than a hero. He was a man of profound humility, dedication, and unwavering integrity, former Secret Service Director Lou Merletti said in a statement. Unfortunately, I am so jaded and now suspicious of everything. Is that true? I don't know.
He does he tells a compelling story. He's been on many, many shows over the years, and he tells a compelling story, but nothing he says indicated at all that there was a shooter in the Secret Service car behind Kennedy, or that there was a shooter in Kennedy's car. Neither one of those does he indicate.
Oh, that the
driver.
And there was the theory about the driver. And again, don't forget that the Zapruder film, which we can all look at now, was not available
until
for
like
10 years.
75, 73,
it was
right?
10 years after it was available in private setting. I guess there were like bootleg copies of it, but you couldn't get it. It was Geraldo Rivera who first put it on national TV. So up until that point, there was nothing to reference. You could probably find a still photo here or there, and I still find it hard to believe that the Zapruder film camera, was the only one there shooting film. You telling me
we've seen shots
people around there.
Yeah, you're talking about on the grassy knoll or up there on the monument. Yeah,
anywhere in Dealey Plaza.
Well, no, we've seen
dude with a.
We've seen videos from Dealey Plaza. Yeah,
not of the assassination.
From the opposite side. Yeah, there is one
of the moment.
Yes, but it's a good distance away because you see all the people running in the yard and stuff like that. Yeah, there is at least one other one, and it was probably a news camera. But there is another shot.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, there is another video from directly across.
Can you find that?
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it.
I would think that'd be pretty easy to find.
Yep.
There's a Reddit post. Today I learned that besides the Zapruder film of the JFK assassination, there's the Nix film. I already found it, Ron. Nice try.
Okay. The Nix film. There you go.
Yeah. Maybe I had heard of this.
But it's a cross. It's coming from the opposite angle.
Well, and that's what I was saying is that isn't there a, let's just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But that's not, it doesn't, let's see, it takes place.
But you can see Zapruder standing on that pedestal up there.
You mean on the stairs right there?
No, Zapruder standing. That's him right there. Yep.
All right, so this is frame by frame, although
that's wild. I hadn't seen this frame by frame, but they had to adjust it to keep it straight.
She's already reached back there, so this is after.
Yeah, the headshot's probably right around there. Yeah.
Yeah, right around where we can't see it.
But
so again, I'm going to say there. So,
what your question should be is: are there any other video of the headshot or of the shooting? Because this appears to be starting
be interesting
after the last shot. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, why wouldn't, if this is a TV camera shooting this, you telling me they just started shooting? Of course not. So there's film of this beforehand, right? We just haven't seen it.
Yeah, I would think so. And maybe some of that'll come out. Maybe they kept those because what shot is it that we've got? Is there a shot of him coming down the street before he turns left? Maybe not. That's the Zapruder film.
There should be.
There should be.
That
there were tons of news stations. Yep.
Right. We should, but we've never seen. And by the way, this was up on Reddit 12 years ago.
Yeah.
This when was this thing posted on YouTube? It was 11 years ago. Aunt Davison NZ is the account. Fascinating. You can clearly see the president's head snap back, not forward, when the headshot happened. You can? In this one? No, you can't. Maybe, okay, let's see. Yeah, see, that's where Jackie is.
She moves almost immediately after the headshot. So that headshot probably happens right around a couple of frames before where you're at. Yeah.
Oh, what's that black thing right there? Is that part of?
I don't know. Probably dirt.
Probably just dirt.
And that's Clint Hill climbing on the back of the car.
So he had a prime seat. All right.
Crazy, right?
I'm just saying.
I mean, look, that happened before you or I was born, yet it's still fascinating. And it's because of the conspiracy around it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we would like to know what in the hell actually happened.
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to find out is that it's what we thought.
It was,
the CIA, the
internal,
mafia.
Yep.
It's not going to be a surprise. It's just going to confirm.
Well, no, I mean, it's like
they've been
It's like they've been pushing disclosure for years, right?
Right.
They've been leaking things about it. Yeah, exactly.
So release the Kraken and the files. Damn it. Pam Bondi, get on it.
This is Phil Bell on the Daily MoJo with your morning update. Let me tell you a story. In September of 2018, FreedomWorks moved to what would prove to be its final office space. And those offices overlooked the rail yard at Washington, D.C.'s Union Station. That meant every day I came to work with my camera and watched trains go by all day while doing my work. It was heaven. And while I was there, since I didn't expect to be at FreedomWorks forever, I hatched a plan that after I started my own railroad, I was going to bring one of our trains into that rail yard and wave at my coworkers to thank them for all the opportunities I had with that great organization. But then came May of 2024, and that's when FreedomWorks shut down abruptly. That meant while I still can start my own railroad, and I will, and while I could still bring our trains into Washington Union Station, and I plan to, there won't be any FreedomWorks there for me to wave at. Now, why do I bring this up? I'm bringing it up because the reality is that no job is forever. And what's more, very few of us will ever get to control how we leave a job. Not only did I have no ability to stop what happened to FreedomWorks, but think about Bill Belichick, who won all of those Super Bowls with the New England Patriots. He too got fired and no longer had his own job. So if you are in the federal government and you're worried about your continued employment, I want to say to you sincerely that while I don't have any sympathy for you, I have a lot of enthusiasm for you, because many of you were not being used to your greatest extent. Many of you were not earning as much as you can. And so leaving the federal government and being able to take the skills that you've built up over so many years is going to benefit you and your families, even though there will be a very difficult period of transition. And I don't say this as happy talk, because quite frankly, last year when I lost my job at FreedomWorks, it was painful. I was scared. I didn't know how I was going to pay the mortgage. I didn't know how I was going to make my car payment, and I didn't know how I was going to eat. But now I've been able to devote more time to things like the Daily MoJo, the All-American Talk Show, the All Aboard podcast by All Things Trains, and building a fundraising business that's starting to have some success. You too will have great opportunities, and so too will all of the Americans who have been paying for a bloated government for years and years, when our taxes are lowered, when government spending is lowered, and when government borrowing is lowered. So what I want you to do is leave a comment below this video. Let us know what you think. And I also want you to download the Daily MoJo smartphone app and enable notifications. That way you'll be up to date on the latest craziness and good stuff coming out of Washington, D.C., and you'll know how to share it with others. We'll see you down the line, and thanks for choosing the Daily MoJo.
Phil Bell's morning update is only on the Daily MoJo.com. You're listening to the lunatic fringe of American radio, the Daily MoJo.
This just in, Denny's is now charging customers extra for dishes containing eggs. First reported by Bloomberg, Denny's said the surcharge will be temporary and will vary by location. The diner chain did not specify which areas would be impacted, but told the outlet it is putting plans in place to minimize the effects for customers.
Hey, we got them at Waffle House the other night.
50 cents an egg.
50 cents an egg.
You got a 3-egg omelet. That was $1.50 extra.
Yep.
Consumers accustomed to paying about $2 for a dozen eggs have seen prices more than double in recent years. That's because they keep killing the chickens. Average cost of a dozen large grade A eggs hit $4.15 in December and $4.95 in January. And some of them are just plain old gone, period. So look out. You can't even escape it at Denny's. Phil Bell and his morning update you just heard moments ago was about the painful experience of losing your job. And it is painful, and I don't wish that on anybody. It sucks, especially if it's a dream job. And believe me, I know a little bit about having a dream job and losing it on more than one occasion. So it blows. However, what I do find offensive, and in this case, it's Ranger Brian, because I'm really tired of hearing about Ranger Brian and his heartbreaking. And here's the reason.
Is it because the mainstream media keeps harping on it?
Yes,
okay.
He's being used as a morality tale of some sort. At CNN, after landing his dream job as a park ranger, he's heartbroken to be let go in federal cuts. Okay, I get it. You'll find if you just Google Ranger Brian, you will find a bajillion stories, and they're all the same story. It's like the chick who was at USAID, who they trotted out there in front of 60 Minutes, and she did the interview there. It happened overnight, and it turned out she was a political shill for Samantha Powers, her speechwriter. So it's a con job. I get it. People are losing their jobs, but guess what? They have to, because we can't afford all these people that are working for us. It happens in the private sector, as Phil said, every day of the week. It happened a lot under Joe Biden, although you wouldn't know it because, that's right, they kept lying to us about the jobless numbers and how, we've added 8 bajillion jobs this month, which they hadn't. They just kept lying to us about the numbers, and then they went back and adjusted them downward. Brian Gibbs put on his gray and green park ranger uniform Friday for his dream job teaching people about Iowa's Effigy Mounds National Monument. The education technician walked in ready to prepare lesson plans for classroom visits to two schools. He knew of the trouble facing the federal workforce, but he had no idea that Friday would be his last day. Yep. Does that suck when you don't even see it's coming? Yes, it does. And especially from places who claim to be transparent. Sorry, making this a little too personal right now. Let me back up. Gibbs is now one of thousands of federal probationary workers who were terminated Friday, a move by the Trump administration aimed at decreasing overall federal workforce. The father and civil servant took to Facebook in a post that's been shared more than 200,000 times to describe what happened, saying he was absolutely heartbroken and completely devastated. And he goes on to say that he couldn't even get into his email. That's what happens.
Yeah.
When you get
they
fired,
lock you out there
generally,
first. Yeah.
Right. That's your first clue that you're probably losing your job, by the way. If you ever try to get into your email and it's like, no, did I change my password? No. You might want to, which is why you should always have your files backed up on your own little hard drive somewhere. I don't care how forever you think your job is. Don't believe it. He's expecting his second child this summer. I get it. I don't know how this guy voted, but elections have consequences. And you really should think about that because we're, again, seeing that some policies put in place by, the government. And why do we the fact that we have a bloated bureaucracy and far too many people working for us, that's a given. His supervisor had been providing updates almost daily about rumored workforce layoffs, and Friday was no different. But you have to know, if you suspect it's coming, why aren't you making alternate plans?
Yeah.
I don't know what you do as
a good point.
As a park ranger, I don't think that there is a private park ranger force out there. I don't know what you do. Maybe you You know what you could do? You could do like Ryan Hall. How about that? Ryan Hall, who has a very successful YouTube channel, was working at a Fox affiliate in Kentucky and went, this kind of sucks. And decided to create a YouTube channel, and wow, has he done well. Now, are the odds
he's a weatherman
against you? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
A good one, too.
Very good
he's
one,
got,
yeah.
I don't know how many followers he has, but he does a really good job. He gets on there, and if there's a storm a-coming, Ryan Hall has 2.46 million subscribers. He also has a charitable arm of his company, and he does a really good job. Generally, if there's severe weather around here, I'll just put Ryan Hall on YouTube, and ta-da. So maybe old Ranger Brian there could start a YouTube channel and teach people about effigy mounds. But again, the part that bothers me is that it's being weaponized, and they're trying to make him the poster child for, the evil Elon Musk and Donald Trump, who are heartless. And that was one of the other posts that were out there. It was about how did they put it? It was about that it was cruel. It was cruel the way that they were doing it. Is it cruel? I don't know that. I mean, how else? The headline at CNN, I feel like cruelty is the point. For many newly fired federal workers, the way they were let go made things much worse. As federal workers get fired by the thousands, the news has sometimes come in unceremonious, callous ways. Read this immediately, went the subject line of a termination email received by one worker. For another, it was the prepaid UPS label that showed up without warning, along with instructions for returning the work computer they were using. These have been some of the impersonal ways workers have discovered their fate. What was the movie? Was it Up in the Air? Up?
Yeah, with George Clooney. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anna Kendrick. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that would be a sucky job to have to go and go into companies. But again, as a federal worker, you have to, that would have concerned the hell out of me every day. With $37 trillion in debt, and my paycheck is coming from that. Things cannot keep going this way. And did you see Cheryl Atkinson's tweet the other day about the federal workers that she had interviewed years ago for CBS? And they were getting paid, what was it? She said $100,000 to do nothing.
What?
Yeah. Let's see. Workers paid $100K to do nothing. She said that the reason it didn't pop right up. The reason that they were being paid that much money and to do nothing, they were given 0 assignments as punishment so that they would be bored at their job. That it was it was used as punishment for, I don't know, not following and not reciting the company line, whatever it was. But they were federal workers who were being paid, and she said she was going to dig up the those files. Atkinson, Twitter. Just remember to there we go. I don't know if they're right up there or not. Doesn't look like it. But yeah, she said that she knew for a fact. So again, it's a problem. I mean, nice work if you can get it. But if you're getting $100K, if you're getting 6 figures to do nothing, that can be a real problem. Wow. Look what I found over on her X timeline. Take a look at this headline. Almost 160,000 civil service employees are millionaires. When Biden took office, fewer than 70,000 federal workers were millionaires. By 2022, the number grew to 76,889. The number ballooned to 155,334 by September of 2024. It is likely there are over 160,000 millionaires working for President Trump.
Wow.
And,
wow.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I will say if you are, I don't know, making 70 grand, whatever it is, making 80 grand a year, which is not a whole lot of money these days. But if you invest it right and you save and you can turn that into millions, good for you. Got nothing against you there. But how many people and granted, there are probably some, but of course the first people that come to mind, would people like Pelosi be considered a civil service employee? I don't know. I mean, she becomes an employee of
that's a good question.
A federal government employee, but she's an elected official. So I don't know if those count or not. And this was an Elon Musk tweet. And Vandersteel said, "Return the diamonds." Gunther Engelman, criminal. Pelosi and McConnell net worth when elected $4.4 million, net worth today $360 million. So we have a problem inside the federal government. They're trying to clean it up. They're trying to whittle it all down. And people are losing their ever-loving minds. And mostly it's the people who are taking advantage of the system. Because again, I don't know how you can complain about waste and fraud and abuse being found and eliminated unless, of course, you are a beneficiary of aforementioned waste, fraud, and abuse. And then over at the Daily Beast, aren't these the same people on the left who are complaining about people being identified because then they become victims of hate and violence? And aren't those the same people that you can't do that because you'll all the hate from the right. People are violent and they'll get out there and they'll start hunting us down, and yet they have no problem outing, for lack of a better term, these the kids on the Dogie team.
Yeah.
Over at the Daily Beast, watch Musk's college dropout Dogie goons caught on camera for the first time. And at one point, they identified them by name. I think it was in Salon.
Back at the beginning, sure.
Yeah. And the one who went by Big Balls?
Yeah.
It was so much fun to watch them say Big Balls on CNN and Hairy Balls. Elon Musk foot soldiers at the Department of Government Efficiency caught on camera for the first time as they walked into a federal agency building. Sunday night episode of 60 Minutes showed 3 of the staffers walking into the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau in D.C. That thing right there, because it was your girl, Maxine Waters.
Oh, yeah.
Who was out there singing the praises of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Which, why do I think that because it's named the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, it's probably the consumer ripoff agency?
Doesn't have anything to do with protection. That's for sure.
It sounds good. It's the Cute Puppies and Kittens Agency. We love puppies and kittens, and they're so cute. Meanwhile, in the back, they're probably euthanizing them. It was aired several times. We heard from our colleagues that they camped out in the basement. A CFPB lawyer who was among those purged from the agency told Leslie Stahl, they've got papers. They've got papers up on the windows to keep people from looking in.
Ta-da.
Wait a minute.
It's reminiscent of an election, I remember.
Whoa, that's weird. I mean, I've heard that pizza boxes are more efficient because they cover more area.
Yeah.
But suddenly, that's a bad thing. Remember that the whole thing about the pizza boxes on the windows was because, we want to protect the safety of the people inside there counting the votes. Because, all the angry mob outside they'll know who they are, and then they'll come after them, and they'll hurt them. And yet suddenly, it really is dumbfounding how hypocritical and two-faced these people are. I mean, it's, you know, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. People, they've let us down. They asked who the three men, asked who she thought the three men were. Hannah Hickman, again, the attorney, said that they were likely software engineers and college dropouts. That's what we've heard anyway. I think if there was transparency, people might feel more confident about what's happening. How much more transparency do you want? Doge puts out a list. Don't they do it every day?
Well, yeah, Doge.gov. You can see everything that they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, how much more efficiency? Doge.gov. Right there. Today at 12:10 a.m., introducing the agency efficiency leaderboard. The competition is on. Also did another contract upload with more than 2,200 contract terminations now listed. How much more transparency can you get? They're listing everything right there. Social Security Administration completed the same software audit. Initial findings, 4 redundant survey tools ranging from $118,000 to $1.8 million a year. Okay. You know, and I can understand how that happens. Because that's a software tool, right? Probably. You know how in a business.
Yeah.
And it's even happened with me because you get let's say you buy software that, well, in our case, is a plug-in for editing software to sharpen up or refocus footage, whatever it is. And you're working with it, and then you don't use it for a little while, and then honestly, you forget you had it, and or you don't know where it is, and you get another plug-in. And they get you with it's going to renew every year. And then you forget, you end up forgetting because you're trying to work as fast as you can. You end up forgetting, oh yeah, I had that subscription. I mean, who here hasn't gone down I forget I had that subscription road.
And it usually bites you in the ass when it renews every year.
Yeah. And you're like, what the hell is $19.99? What's that for? What the hell is that?
What the hell is $556? Holy hell.
Right. Yeah. What's her name? And she's a what? But so I can see how that, and you get up at the federal level, and you get a bazillion people working there. You don't know, which is why I guess there are limits on credit cards and restrictions on who can use them. But I can see that happening. And that's why we're doing this, is to clean up that mess. Paying for 10,000 user interface path licenses. Only using 5,000. Oh, okay. Paying for 20,000 Tableau licenses, using only 11,000. How much more transparent? I mean, what are they not being transparent about? The fact is, they're being transparent. It's the people that are butthurt are, again, the ones who are taking advantage of all of this stuff. And it was the Consumer Financial Protection Act. Is it Russ Vought? Is he he's the Office of, what's the OMB? The Office of what?
Management Budget?
Bureau? I think so. Sure. And he's also the acting CFPB director. When he tweeted, pursuant to the Consumer Financial Protection Act, I have notified the Federal Reserve that the CFPB will not be taking its next draw of unappropriated funding because it is not reasonably necessary to carry out its duties. The Bureau's current balance of $700.6 million is in fact excessive in the current fiscal environment. The spigot, long contributing to CFPB's unaccountability, is now being turned off. Good. And doing it according to the Consumer Financial Protection Act. Excellent. Again, how much more transparent do you want them to be? Gifted Guru in the Rumble chat room. I work because I can. My doctor says he could get me on disability. You know, the great thing about disability, though, is you get the little placard for your car, and you can park anywhere you want to. Right? Lady Wrangler, some might get offered a different position in another department that doesn't get shut down, but you can bet they will be vetted more closely. Possibly. That's what happened with the, remember all the people that used to man the toll booths out on the highway?
I do, yeah.
Well, when we went to the old toll boothless system, those people all either lost their jobs or were reassigned in some other capacity. But according to what I've read, a lot of that was timed so that the people were going to be retiring anyway. But who knows? What is Ted Cruz? What is this? This is ultimate. All right, I don't know what this means. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. This is one of those where Elon was asking.
Well, it's a response to Elon's request, and then Ted Cruz goes, that's the ultimate question. So here are my 5. So Senator Tina, I can't remember her last name. I can't see it there, but
Schnookenpass.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate dick boss move from Musk, except he isn't even the boss. He's just a dick. What? Asking what you did. 5 things.
And then he asked her, okay, what'd you get done last week?
Right. He does not give any F's, does he?
No, he does not.
At this point, and I can't say that I blame him. Let's see. This portion of the Daily Mojo program is brought to you by the fine folks over at preparewithmojo50.com, where right now you can save money because money is tight everywhere we go. You can save money right now on the 3-month emergency food kit. It is less than $600. $100 off. That is Jim Dandy right there.
Yeah.
You get 2,000 calories, 100% of the recommended daily value of 12 essential vitamins. So it's not junk food. That's the beautiful thing about the emergency food supply. It's not like you're eating, potato chips and Vienna sausage. Although I would guess Vienna sausage has some nutritional value, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would think so.
It's got to be good for you. It's meat. Meat's good for you. At least that's what I hear. It'll last up to 25 years. You just keep it just store it somewhere sensibly. I can just see something. I stored it in the middle of the parking lot here at work in Texas, and it broke. Don't store it in the parking lot. But put it someplace where it'll be nice and protected, and then if you ever have a situation where you need to use it, it'll be ready for you, ready to go, and you've saved $100 right off the get-go. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, because it is times like these when things are looking really good
where you should be stocking
no one invests.
Yep.
Usually nobody invests. Traditionally, this is what's happened with places like My Patriot food supply, and other emergency food supply companies, that when things are going well, like, oh, things are looking up, guess I don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm telling you, this is the time to do it. If you have the wherewithal, if you have the reserves, if you have the capital to buy this is the best time to do it. You're going to save money, and it'll be there. And again, you got that 25-year life expectancy, so it doesn't matter when things happen, as long as the shit hits the proverbial fan sometime in the next 2.5 decades, which is a pretty good bet. It's going to happen. Preparewithmojo50.com.
If you're offended, you're listening wrong. The Daily Mojo.
Sorry, I was looking at the headline at Zero Hedge, which is actually from Chris Rufo's report. Look at all of the happy people in the Zoom room. Ron, who we have in the Zoom room today?
Let's see.
Over
We've got our little turtle buddy in the top left. We've got not Ross that was Bob in the middle up there. That would be Lep. Free range prisoner with his joystick. We've got Erica, misinformation, good morning. Deuce 5, Whiskey, Timmy, Beaver, and Wisconsin Jack Hole.
What did misinformation do with her hair? Is that different?
I think it looks great, actually.
I didn't say it. I know it does look great. I said, what did she do differently?
I don't know.
Is it something different?
I don't know what she did.
See, Ron, I'm getting this is a master class. Always ask about a woman's hair.
And then she flipped you right
because
off. That's great.
They always say, you never notice if I do something with my hair. So we have to, as men, acknowledge when something is done with their hair, even if nothing is done with their hair, simply because it shows that you are paying attention.
Uh-huh.
So, right back at you there, misinformation. The headline at Zero Hedge, again based on the Chris Rufo report, sex, castration, and butthole zapping. The NSA and CIA confirm secret kink chat room after the Chris Rufo bombshell. There is a kink chat room at the NSA.
Wow.
And it is not for the faint of heart. Let me just say that. It's this is from the Chris Rufo tweet. He says one popular chat topic was male to female transgender surgery, which involves surgically removing the penis, turning it into an artificial vagina. These male intelligence agents love the feeling of penetration and of peeing with their pseudo vaginas. And I would read the chat. Oh, what the hell? Let's read it anyway. This is apparently two people talking in the chat room. I mean, honestly, the rest is nice too. Wearing panties without worrying about anything showing, seeing my reflection in the mirror, wearing leggings, etc. But the pee thing is something I never thought of, but it's really nice. Which again, I don't care what you do, who you do it with, what you're having sewn off. If you get an addictomy, that's fine. Don't care. But what are we doing in the government chat room talking about this? And how much are we spending? And don't you have some work to be doing? The other person responds, I'm going to be wearing leggings all day, Friday and Saturday. I think about that last one probably the most. That would be the peeing thing. Mine is purely aesthetics, well, almost purely, and not being able to do some things I want. Mine is everything. I found that I like being penetrated like I never liked it before, gender reassignment surgery, but all the rest is just as important as well. Yeah, that's part of what I want. All I can say is that this was like 1,000,000,000% worth it, despite having to fly to Thailand, pay out of pocket, and the recovery. I would not change anything if I ever had to do it over again. But that's just for me personally. Everyone has to make their own decision, etc., etc., etc. The part about the butthole zapping was getting my butthole zapped by a laser was shocking.
I see what you did.
Said one trans-identifying DIA official. The medical science is going to give me tits one way or another, said a Naval Intel employee.
Another one says, yeah, that's what I would have done for F's sake had it not been covered. Thankfully, it was.
Again, this is what's being discussed and paid for currently or recently.
Just this one page would have made... just this one page is an example of why Elon Musk said, I need you to send me 5 things that you've done this week.
Yeah, right. How much work was not getting done while you were discussing butthole zapping in the chat room?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, across town Let me see if I can find this because it was. Hold on a second. Aha! No, that's not it. I'm going to read you something. You tell me if you think it is. I'm going to tell me if you think it's right or if it's. Well, it's certainly not politically correct. Does that make me homophobic? Probably, and I'm not exactly proud of it, but part of the intrinsic nature of straightness is that the idea of homosexual sex is, well, gross. Even if you think that gay people are perfectly lovely individuals, for the record, I'm sure gay people think straight sex is gross. It's just that the nature of political correctness is that gay people are allowed to say straight sex is gross, but the reverse is considered to be patently homophobic. Agree or disagree?
I disagree.
You disagree?
That it's patently homophobic.
Does that make me homophobic? Probably. So you're disagreeing with what this person is writing.
Read it again, because it's the first part that I'm a little bit.
Not being allowed to call gay sex gross, but allowing gay people to say the opposite. Does that make me homophobic? Probably. And I'm not exactly proud of it, but part of the intrinsic nature of straightness is that the idea of homosexual sex is, well, gross. Even if you think that gay people are perfectly lovely individuals, for the record, I'm sure gay people think straight sex is gross too. But it's just that the nature of political correctness is that gay people are allowed to say straight sex is gross, but the reverse is considered to be patently homophobic. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
you?
Now, after you reread it, yes, I kind of agree with it. Yeah. I don't think it's gross on either side because of the aspect that you're looking at it from. Just because I might think it's gross or someone else thinks it's gross doesn't mean that it is.
I see what you're saying there.
Yeah.
I want you to see who you just agreed with, because those were the words of yours and my favorite.
I hate this woman.
A community that I support and that I deeply care about is hurting because of some despicable and truly offensive posts being attributed to me.
See, she was the one who said that. So you agreed with what she said.
Kinda, yeah.
Now, many of you have seen these blog posts circulating online and in social media. Many of them are homophobic, discriminatory, and outright weird and hateful. When a friend found them in December and sent them to me, I was stunned. Frankly, I couldn't imagine where they'd come from or whose voice that was. In the months since, I've spent a lot of time trying to make sense of these posts. I hired cybersecurity experts to see if somebody had manipulated my words or my former blog. And the reality is they have not been able to prove it.
Do you remember this?
I do not, no.
This is from 2018 when it resurfaced, these blog posts that Joy Reid had made that were, people on the left considered them homophobic. She has a right to believe what she believes, but then she would not admit that she had written it. And she's like, no, my account got hacked. But then she apologized for it. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't think I wrote it. I don't remember writing it. I'm pretty sure I didn't write it.
And it always ends with, but if I did.
But if I did, right.
Yeah.
If I were the real killer. But that's the type of person that Joy Reid is. She wouldn't just own up to it. She just tried to deny it the whole way. And even when she got caught, which is really kind of weird too, if you look at the Belle Gibson case, have you heard of that one?
I don't think so.
It's the chick that said she had cancer, but actually didn't have cancer, and then wrote a book about homeopathic cures for cancer. Yeah. And her name is Belle Gibson, which every time you hear it, you think Mel Gibson, which is why she got so much press initially. And she did an interview with 60 Minutes Australia, and she flat out refused to say that she had lied about it. Well, Belle, you didn't have cancer, did you? Well, it was my truth. I thought I did.
Well, that's the thing about lies. You have to stick with them. You can't.
I did give her
look at the
effort.
Democratic Party. So Adam Schiff, for one, he will stand by his lies. He has to.
Yes, right. Now, will he stand by them all the way to prison? I don't know. Will he go to prison? Who knows? I mean, a boy can dream. But that's the kind of person that Joy Reid was, probably will always be. And then she had this was today's Tuesday, right?
This was Sunday 2 days ago, yeah.
This is Sunday night.
Yeah.
This is Joy Reid. She's upset she got fired too, even though her ratings were in the toilet. And by the way, getting fired is kind of it's a common thing in this industry.
I've been talking to so many people, but I've been through every emotion from
here come the tears,
anger, rage, disappointment, hurt, feeling that, guilt, that I let my team lose their jobs.
Here it comes.
But in the end, where I really land and where I've landed on today is just gratitude, just pure gratitude. And gratitude, not just because people would take the time to get on a call like this, or to take care of me, but also that my show had value. And
did it though? Did it?
That was my question. Did it have value? Because if it did, I would think that they'd be,
I'll be honest with you,
be breaking down the door.
I'll be honest with you. This Joy Reid right here versus the one you showed in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
This Joy Reid right here is what's the word I'm looking for?
Humble?
More fascist looking to me.
Fascist looking? Right?
And I don't know why I don't know if that's the word that I'm looking for, but she looks more radical with the short cropped baldish hair versus what she looked like in 2018. I'm telling you. And I think that's a part of why I struggled to deal with her in the last year.
Are you judging a book by its cover?
Somewhat, but only because she opens her mouth and proves me right.
I think it's more about what she says, which is pretty much anything that's against Trump, she's for.
Yeah.
And she goes on, and she's crying because she lost her job, and she thinks that she was doing the right thing, or does she?
I'm sorry. That
I think she comes across as humble. Now, do I believe that she's humbled?
No. Because she's still saying doing crap.
She's doing an awfully good job of the performance. I give her an A.
Had value.
Right.
Had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen.
But you know why she got fired, right?
Probably because she opened her mouth. I don't know why did she get fired.
No. She got fired because
her ratings sucked.
Well, you would think that that's why they would fire her, but that's not what Rachel Maddow says. Rachel Maddow is fairly certain that the reason she got fired.
Programming change is at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12. And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad. no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible.
Because, racism.
Yeah.
It feels indefensible to fire black people because they're black? What, you can't fire black people now? When did that happen? Pretty sure that's what happened to Phil Bell over at FreedomWorks, too.
True that.
It's more of a layoff than fired, but, you know what? Being laid off.
You know what it implies to me, and I hate this. I hate this feeling. It implies to me that these were DEI hires or were kept on because of DEI, and now they're letting them go because of Trump's EO. I hate that feeling, but it's because of where we are as a country now, that were they fired because their merit wasn't where it needed to be.
No one liked Joy Reid.
Nobody liked Joy. I didn't like her.
No, there is a percentage of people who did like Joy Reid. It just wasn't enough of a percentage of people.
It wasn't
to
enough
make it
of
worth sponsorships.
Yeah. Well,
and people to pay money to be on MSNBC, which is dying on the vine.
Look, I know we have them on the right, but Joy Reid went on public television, mainstream television news, and was inciting violence, period.
Yes.
And quite honestly, I don't like Rachel Maddow, but she doesn't do that as bad or as much. She may speak her mind, but I never, and I don't like Rachel Maddow, but I don't know that she incites violence like I was getting from
Rachel Maddow is good at what she does.
And you know what? Look, listen to me what I'm about to say, because this is crazy. Rachel Maddow looks good for 51.
Okay. I might be for Rachel now.
I might be crazy, but I had no idea she was that.
Does that make you gay?
It does not make me gay, because that dude, well, maybe it does. Damn it.
I mean, just a little bit. Just a little gay. You don't have to be all gay, but I mean, you do a little bit of gay.
Okay.
That's that look that she's giving you right now, and she's thinking you're thinking about her.
I'm not really thinking about her. I don't know. I think she looks good for 51.
You think she wears Brute aftershave? Does she smell like Old
And she
Spice?
probably doesn't look that good with all that freaking makeup on. So there's that.
She was cute in high school. You ever seen her high school picture? I think it's down here. Oh, yeah, right there.
See? Completely different,
girl.
right?
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, again, from a lesbian standpoint, she probably looks really
You know
good.
who I think is stunning? And I'll just say it out loud because I feel like I want to.
Mm-hmm.
Megyn Kelly.
What, you trying to make up for the gay part?
Stunning, dude.
Having the hots for Rachel Maddow?
I don't have the hots for Rachel Maddow. I said she looks good for 51.
I mean, look, it's okay. No judgment.
I wish I looked good for 59, but
if you like that dude, you like her.
If you like that dude.
They. Whatevs. I mean, again, you do you.
Now, wasn't it you that talked about Lester Holt? He left, but I don't think he was fired, but why did he leave?
Because they couldn't afford him. I don't know how many millions he was making. I think he fell into the same trap as Hoda Kotb. Dr. Zoe knows, by the way, says gayest thing Ron ever said.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Ron just proved he likes dudes. Hope Freebie the 38th.
There's a chance.
Okay,
right? There's a chance.
It's okay
for
that
a lot
you
of
like
dudes out
dudes.
there.
There's an
entire possibility.
Exactly.
I'm only 59. I mean, I'm not 60 yet. So,
Toby says, "Oh, looks like I joined the show at exactly the right moment." Exactly.
There he is. There he is. I was wondering when he was going to comment.
Is it Ron? Just yes or no? That's all we need from you. Have you ever put your hand on a gay man's butt?
Yes, on two of them at the same time.
That's all.
Have I not?
You are a whore.
At least I didn't lie about it, because I
from the
knew
man whore
there's photos out
and
there
me.
somewhere.
Coming up next here on the Daily Mojo.
The Daily Mojo.
You know, we haven't heard about UFOs in a while. We haven't heard about and whether or not they are going to finally disclose What the federal government has in the UFO department, I don't know. They may not. But this happened at KFOR in Oklahoma on News 4. They went to the weather, and something interesting popped up, shall we say. Not in that way, but, something interesting in the skies.
Get to this next story. We just have to say that we don't really like reporting on UFO stories.
Why? We don't, but something captured on one of our News 4 sky cams last week, there it is right there, is now taking social media by storm.
Whatever that is moving fast,
goes in search of answers.
It is hauling ass.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
And it probably not a drone. Drones don't move that fast.
Right.
I thought maybe a spotlight, but it doesn't move.
As to what it might be.
Snow in addition to all of that.
It was no more than a minute into News 4's 9 o'clock newscast last Friday night when forewarned Storm Team meteorologist Aaron Brackett hit the green screen and did something he's done countless times over his 15-year career.
And a lot of times, I start out with a sky cam.
Friday, he showed a sky cam near Penn Square Mall pointing northwest.
7-day forecast moving.
When something caught his eye.
I wonder what that is right there. That's
right.
Interesting. I start seeing this object, and it's flying faster, moving faster than anything I've really observed out there.
It just didn't make sense.
It's going down. It's moving really quickly. It's bright. It's got some light to it, and I kind of called attention to it. Pretty interesting. Moving really fast. Okay.
He posted the clip online where it took off, making its way from X to TikTok to Reddit to online publications who declared Aaron must have caught a UFO live in action. Dozens of commenters chimed in with theories too. It must be aliens, maybe a bird. It had to be a plane.
A bird?
That's what I was thinking it could have been.
A bird?
A bird.
How that?
Yeah. Which means it was closer to the camera than what it appeared to look like. Here's the problem I'm having with that comment, though, is it was in the clouds. And if it was in the clouds far enough out, then it was moving. Whatever it was hauling ass.
So you think it was, all right, see, a bird, all right.
No, it was definitely a helicopter.
Except helicopters don't move that fast.
Pilot Mason Dunn.
At first, I thought it might be a spotlight from the ground.
Aha, see, he and I thought alike.
Oh,
the
okay.
rotating beacon at an airport, but it doesn't look like that to me, so I have no idea what it is.
One thing he is sure of.
I'm pretty confident that it wasn't a plane or a helicopter.
The physics just wouldn't make sense.
That light is moving very fast. Even faster than an airplane would. If it were a plane, it would have taken longer. Now, I've seen comets and things falling, from the sky during the night when you're flying.
Oh, so I just realized something.
It must have been something.
I just realized that's not if that was night vision, that a bird would have shown up like that. But since it's not night vision because you can see the color in the lights down below, a bird wouldn't show up like that.
So what the hell is it?
A great question. Yeah. You thought it was a spotlight, maybe?
I thought it was a spotlight, but it travels
because it's erratic.
A spotlight would have been, it would have gone, it would have been a pattern, relatively circular pattern to it, but it's
space. We took that theory to astronomer Wayne Harris Wyrick.
I first start to think, is that a possible meteor because they do enter the atmosphere, or is that a returning, like a second stage or a burnout stage of a satellite of some kind.
Not going horizontally.
And there's certain things you look for. It didn't fit any of those at all.
Plus, Friday wasn't exactly stargazing weather anyway.
It was mostly cloudy that night.
You would have heard noises and you would have had reports of it. But a typical little meteor that makes a streak across the sky that lasts, a second or so. No, you're not going to see that through clouds.
This is far from the first time someone's asked him to decipher a mysterious flying object caught on camera. He says almost every time there is a plausible explanation for what we see.
I just think it seems unlikely to me that any
changes direction
can fly hundreds or thousands of light years here and do stuff like that in our sky. If they're going to come here, they're going to probably be invisible to us.
And not.
Whoa. How about? Hang on. Why? Why are they going to be invisible to us? That's what everybody says. Why wouldn't they have made themselves known? Maybe they don't. Maybe they are like the pranksters of the universe, whoever it is that's coming here.
Maybe.
Maybe they just do it to dick with us. Ever think about that? I mean, that'd be kind of nice to. I mean, you don't generally think about aliens having a sense of humor. You think about them being all serious, right? Or either serious or like homicidal. One of the two. They either want to eat us or they just want to have serious talks to us about our nuclear arsenal. But what if there just happens to be a planet of aliens that they do nothing but practical jokes? That's what they do. That's their existence.
Maybe.
Wouldn't that be funny? I mean, why not?
Yes, why not?
Why not? Dogs and cats do it. They do fun stuff, right? They play with you. Why not aliens? Why can't Mr. Alien be up there going, you know what, watch this. I've seen Channel 4 Oklahoma's news before. Watch what I do to their weather report. And then they're sitting back at home right now going, they're doing a whole story on us right now. They have no idea. I mean, it's just as possible as any other explanation. That's all I'm saying. Why not? Why couldn't it have happened? We have Dan coming up here in a bit, but I did, and before we go in with Dan, I did want to revisit a story that we told earlier about the Maine governor who made the really stupid decision to take on.
She's making
Trump.
A new threat.
Well, this is why you never, at least if you have anything in your past that might be hinky, you don't make yourself a target. Because apparently there's some dicey financial dealings. Wow, that is a face. That's the face that's the face. What is this? The face you make when the president has just ruined your future political plans.
Yep.
But listen to this here.
Mills, the current governor of Maine. A year before she took office, her brother, Peter Mills, received $22 million through a shell company called Western Mountains and Rivers Corporation. This company also received 670 acres of land on the Dead River, all courtesy of a company called Central Maine Power. When Janet Mills assumed office a year later, she immediately approved CMP to clear cut an 145-mile corridor through Western Maine without the endorsement of any of the localities affected, who were all in major disagreement with the decision. And that $22 million that was supposed to be spent on the towns appears to have been pocketed by this shell company run by Peter Mills, rather than being spent on the people it was actually supposed to. When I reached out to Western Mountains Corp to verify where the funds were spent and the status of the land, my request was ignored, and there exists no information on the firm's website either. This is a clear example of political corruption in the state of Maine and deserves to be investigated further, in my opinion. What do you all think?
Huh.
Interesting.
Right? I mean, is it possible that she might be at home thinking, I should have just kept my mouth shut?
It's possible, but she's doubling down. Did you see her latest X post?
What'd she say?
She said, if you stop federal funding, we'll stop collecting federal taxes on payroll, and you won't get any of that.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
The war is on, it sounds like.
I'm not sure that's legal. I mean, maybe that is legal.
Miss, I'm following the law. Yeah.
Right. And I don't know how much money that is, but I'm thinking that was kind of a stupid threat to make, wasn't it?
It was a stupid threat to make. It was stupid for her to even raise her hand to go, I'm here.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
Don't anybody say I'm here. I don't even.
She could have said I'm here, but then not responded to him at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. We'll talk later. Whatever. But I'm just, I mean, if this is true, then man, is she going to be really sorry that she opened her pie hole.
But, she has supporters. She's got 14, 15 other states supporting her because they're in the same boat. They're doing the same thing. Yeah. She just happened to be the one he called on.
All right. I mean, again, if and I think federal funding is a trap that every state falls into for everything. Look at the Department of Education with federal funds.
That's hundreds of millions of dollars going to the
Yeah.
state from the federal government every year.
Right.
That the state's going to go, they're going to look at it and go, oh shit. But at the end of 4 years, would it not be surprising for us to have specific states where transgender people move to because they're more lenient?
Isn't that the whole idea behind states?
Maybe. I mean, we've got.
Isn't that the whole
if you
idea
look at
behind
California versus
individual
Texas?
states?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the idea behind different states. Everything not specifically granted in power to the federal government is granted to the states. So different tribes of people can settle and gather in one area. I mean, it's people are tribal. I mean,
Yes.
no matter
Yeah.
how much,
Yeah.
no matter how much they've tried to paint. If you don't want to hang around with this tribe, you're a homophobe. If you're a whatever a phobe. People generally hang with people, birds of a feather, and all that.
Yeah,
and that's why states are states. It's groups of people that theoretically are living together because they all share whatever values that they have. All right, great. You want to do that? That's fine. But again, she fell into the trap, and this should be a lesson to any other state or entity that's getting money from the federal government. They giveth, they can taketh away. So it would seem to me that this is a value. This is a teachable moment in that. All right, maybe you should rethink that whole getting money from the federal government to begin with, if they are, putting a kink in your plans to do what you want to do.
Well, besides the number of votes, that's why states don't do what's that called? Not a separation. Is it a separation when a state wants to move away from the union? It's not a separation. It's something else.
When you
secede. Sorry. Yeah, when you secede.
Secession, yeah.
And that's why. Besides votes, that's why states don't secede, because the money too good.
Yeah, chicken too tasty.
Chicken too tasty. Yeah.
So, all right. So with that said, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Governor Janet Mills, who may or may not be getting new clothing to wear with stripes on it.
Yeah.
But I doubt it. All right, Dan Andros is next here on the Daily Mojo.
The Daily Mojo.
E1 Guru main oath of office includes, I blank do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state so long as I shall continue be a citizen thereof, so help me God. Huh. That is the face, again, right there, the face of Janet Mills. She looks like a cartoon, does she not? Not a happy cartoon, but, a cartoon nevertheless. Just a thought.
And now, the moral center of the Daily Mojo, Dan Andros.
Dan, it is always good to see you. Thanks for
thanks
for dressing
always
up.
Good to see me too. No, dressing up. Look at this. Look at this. I told you I got it, by the way. I love this shirt. Look at this.
The Gulf of America shirt. There it is. Look at that.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Nice.
Beautiful.
I told you. I ordered it. It came, and it's glorious.
There was a friend of mine on Facebook who is a liberal, and I don't hate her for it. I question why. But anyway, she had a post on the Gulf of America with a banner across it that says, America's ownership over water only extends 22 nautical miles. And then somebody commented, was this some type of a ploy to gain drilling rights out there? And the guy replied to him, no, it was a ploy to distract liberals from real issues. It worked. It did. It really did. It's amazing how many people are so hung up on that. It's funny to watch.
I know. Honestly, we talked about it, I think, a couple weeks ago, but, I think people are just sick of hating America. We're not perfect. I got it. we did the slavery thing. Yes, it was horrible, but the whole world was doing it. Like, let's not act like America was the only ones that had slaves ever in the history of the world. It was actually kind of commonplace. So not good, but commonplace, right? So, but I mean, at what point do you stop with the, first of all, it's not even like true, like to have this overall hatred of America. Like it's based on mostly lies, right? Like, this country's so horrible, everything's systemically racist. Well, what is everyone coming here for? What are all of these brown people coming from south of the border for if it's this horrible racist haven where nothing but racism is going to happen to you? There must be something else going on here that people kind of like and think might be good for them. So it gets tiring after a while to hate yourself so much, you know, like just, I really truly think that a lot of people are like, you know what? It just feels good to say, America, heck yeah.
Right. I totally agree with you. And on her, that same account, there was a checklist of why Canada was a better country. So I responded, are you going to move to Canada? I mean, okay, so Canada's better. Then, all right, go. But they don't want to do that. They just want to point out how much worse America is than Canada, which I don't even think is true. But it's just weird. It's just weird how just freakishly anti-America. And when they say that we're anti-Americans, we're the fascists of the world, and then they dog this country left and right. I'm tired of it.
I know they try to.
I'm with you.
They try to shame you for loving the flag and loving what the country stands for. Yet at the same time, they'll celebrate people who come in here and then go to rallies wrapped around the Mexican flag or something. And it's like,
right.
Whoa, what about, are they scary nationalists over there or something? Like, what's going on? Like, there's just so much inconsistency. It's nauseating. It's tiring. And I think people are tired of it, right? Like, I mean, we can admit our flaws while also still loving our country. And I think that's part of the reason why we're so divided, is because people are trying so hard to get us to hate ourselves. And it's like, listen here, okay, let's talk about the things that aren't going right. But I don't know how you can't admit as a human being, any honest observer, that America's generally going in the right direction when you look at the long arc of things.
It would seem, I agree with you. And is it ever going to be perfect? No, because anytime if you have human beings involved in anything, it's never going to be perfect. And I think that's one of the things we have to remember is there's never going to be a time when we figure out all of these issues. I mean, it's just not going to happen. That would be utopia. That would be heaven. And I don't think we're ever going to create heaven here on earth. That's what heaven's for. I just hope there's chocolate.
Right.
There. Yeah. I just hope there's chocolate.
100%. But there's no more weeping and no more sorrow, no more tears, no more pain. So whatever it is, we're going to like it.
I think we've had this discussion before about whether or not there are bathrooms in heaven.
I don't think so. Well, I'm going to say no. That's a guess here. I've never thought of this. So my first initial reaction is no. I think we get new bodies when we go into heaven, and I think they're going to be perfected bodies, right? I mean, as close as to perfection as we all got here, right, guys? Actually perfect bodies, right? With, not to get graphic, right? But not having to do all the things we do. There's going to be a difference. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I would guess that the whole having to do all that is probably out the window, but I could be wrong.
You can't see Ron's face right now, but he's profoundly disappointed. Profoundly.
Not really. Not really.
Because you don't know what you're going to do with most of your time anymore.
That's true. TikTok and news dropping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting? Can I quick elaborate on this heaven thing real quick? Because people are. I've heard that comment like, "Well, I'm going to be bored in heaven." Like, what is it? Well, think about like a rock concert or a sporting event that you go to that was super intense, and you have this big crowd, and it's all amazing, and everyone's into it, and they're yelling and screaming. You get this like euphoric sort of feeling for a short time. Like, I feel like that's like a sliver of kind of, when you're in the presence of God, right? Like, and this awe and this majesty and the glory, and like there's no, it's just so overwhelming, and everyone will be in like that sort of state of just and like perfect, right? Like the examples I gave are clearly flawed, right? But with God, it's like perfect. So it's like just this incredible state all the time. And like you're not going to be bored. Like you're just not going to be like, I don't know, man. This is, I got a good view up here on cloud 9, but it's I don't know, it's getting old. No, it's just not going to be like that. And so I try to give it that little sliver. I've had that kind of imagery of like a big sporting event where you can feel the rush, of like the crowd. And it's like, but that's only just even a sliver of what it'll be like in heaven in the presence of God. So for all of you who think heaven's going to be bored.
I've never thought of that, actually. I've never thought of heaven as being boring, but it is so generally, it's impossible for the human brain to conceptualize, first of all, of forever. That's a very, very long time. So it's hard to even wrap your brain around that. And then to try to conceptualize being basically euphoric forever is equally impossible to try to. I mean, there's just no way you can wrap it's the same as trying to wrap your head around the infinity of space. How far does it go?
Exactly. Like expanding universe, like what's on the other side of the expanding of the universe? Yeah. What's over there? It's wild to think about, but like, you're right. Like we can't do it because our minds are finite here and we only have this experience to compare it to. And we do get bored and we do, lose the awe of creation, all that stuff. And we have a fallen, we are going to the bathroom. We are beating each other up and arguing and everything else. So,
there's an interesting story over at FaithWire, and it is the headline reads, hang on, let me put it over here. I saw this earlier. God doesn't make mistakes. Born with just one arm, woman proves absolutely every critic wrong. That's a fascinating. Are you familiar with the story?
On the outset, I can't say I know every detail, but I did talk about the story with Billy.
Well, it's. I mean, when you stop and think about it, because all of us, again, it's the human thing where, and I haven't seen the movie, but it's the human concept, or I guess the human tendency to think, I can't imagine what I would do without my left arm. I can't imagine how you think of everything you do, from zipping up your zipper to buttoning buttons to whatever, opening a can of peas, whatever it is. I can't imagine having to do that without my left arm. But she, Caitlin, is it Pavey or Pavey?
I think so, yeah.
Pronounce her name was Caitlin. She's had to do that her whole life. She learned, that's what she has to open a can of peas. She has to figure out a way to do it. It's like the woman I do. You've seen her on
that's all she knows, Brad. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a matter. It was like learning English when you were growing up.
It's not a comparison.
Correct.
Right. It's not a comparison. It's this is how you open a can of peas, and she does it with one arm. And it's like the girl on TikTok, the woman on TikTok without two arms.
Yeah.
Who does everything with her feet. And again, it goes back to that, God doesn't make mistakes, and people are able to adapt quite well, quite efficiently when they are born in a situation like this. And they probably, like she thinks, I don't know would I like to have two arms? I don't know if she would or not. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Someone like that, it's an inspiration. It shows you when you bitch about your little problems, imagine this.
100%. Yeah, and I think it's a lesson for us all to remember that God is going to use every situation. I think it's really easy to get frustrated with whatever is going, even if it's not like a physical limitation like this. Maybe there's, you can't get the job you want, or, you don't have, you really want to do something, you can't get the money for it, or, whatever it might be that's like holding you back, or like that you think is holding you back. Like God actually is going to use you in a very specific way that's different from other people. And so I think until we get that perspective of like, all right, God, instead of being like angry at our situations or frustrated at our situations, looking at it and saying, okay, God, how do you want to use me in this situation? Like, what is this for? What is this purpose? We were just talking the other day about on the podcast about how God has a purpose designed for our life. And we were created with a purpose in mind that's all in accordance with his will. He's working all these things together in greater way that some crazy AI supercomputer can work in and through all these situations in our life. And like, we're created for a purpose. And like that should be comforting for all these people who have anxiety and don't know what, they're nervous about things or they're panic attacks, whatever the case might be. This is the kind of story that you want to lean into, because you don't know what am I going to do with one arm? You're just thinking like, right. You have two paths you can go on that. You can either be bitter and angry and frustrated and look at all the things you can't do, or you can just say, you know what? Hey, I got one arm. What can I do with this arm? Like, how is God going to use this? I don't know. And you don't know how, kind of like, this one ended up being a movie, but a lot of people don't have a movie. So, but it might be just one or two people in your life that you impact, and that could be what God designed you for. And so I think when we know that and we think that, we can rest in that and avoid a lot of this anxiety and panic and everything else.
There is a line in this story that it's fascinating. For years, she rebuffed attempts to make a movie about her story, believing she really didn't have anything special to share. Which is, I mean, again, right? I mean, to her, it's like, what? I've got one. So what? That's how she learned from day one. Right. This is what I do. This is how you zip up a zipper. This is how you button a button. I don't know how you've got that other hand in the way all the time. How do you get anything done? It really, she's like the opposite of Ranger Brian, who, if you weren't listening earlier, but Ranger Brian is on my last nerve now. Just Google Ranger Brian after we're done. No, don't ask. It'll be too long. Just Google Ranger Brian. You'll see. Right. What's coming up on the podcast later on, or I guess it's already dropped today. The Quick Start podcast.
Yeah, it's already dropped.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, we talked about Doge, and apparently there's a survey out on Doge and what Americans think about the concept of this type of agency, about Elon Musk. And, not surprisingly, Democrats are not happy with Elon Musk, but there's huge support for what this agency and this type of agency should be doing, cutting the budget. Like that's a surprising thing. A Christian University, Pepperdine suing Netflix. And there's a series called House of David out on Prime coming up, I think. And it's about King David for the Bible. And we talked to the actor who played David there. So, yeah.
Very cool.
That's that and more.
A lot of stuff coming up. There you go. All right, my friend, Dan Andros over at CBN News and also at faithwire.com at Dan Andros on the Twitter. That, my friends, is, as they say, that.
What do you mean it's Let's Go?
That's 2 hours of incredible news, commentary, insight, opinion, and dare I say love.
Love.
I think I do.
Yeah.
Dare I dare. Known as the Daily MoJo for today, Tuesday, February 25th, the year of our Lord 2025. And let's see what everyone has to say as a result of spending these wonderful last 2 hours together. We start over on the X. James, I'm back where I can tweet now. OMG. I thought it was bad when Real Brad Staggs said Pelosi was hot, and then you went mad, Al? I know, right? But again, Ron, it's okay.
What's funny is I didn't say she was hot. I said she looked good for 51.
Oh, there you go.
Megan Kelly is hot.
It's okay. You know what? Don't
disagree with.
I'll give you a big. If you want a bigger shovel, I'll give you one. Pickled Squirrel. Didn't Joey B threaten school lunch programs if the states didn't fall in line with Title IX trans ideology? Oh, that's right. Again, it's always great when the people in the office are on your side. It's not so great when the other side, who's not on your side, is in there.
Right.
Peekapool, the dastard, no pooping in heaven. How do you feel about that, Kaboom? That's a good question. Yeah, I haven't seen DM this morning. Freedom Entrepreneur says, not sure how the governor of Maine can stop collecting federal taxes since businesses collect those taxes and send them to the federal government. They never process through the state. She clearly has no idea how it works.
Clearly.
geez. And over in the Rumble chat room, I feel I'm here to be a caretaker because I really like helping people less fortunate. Missy13, the world needs more people like you. And more people like Ron, right? Who think Rachel Maddow is hot.
Oh, my God.
As for the rest of you, remember that we the people must hang together, otherwise we shall surely hang separately. Sic semper tyrannis, resist, stupid. And good night, Doc Thompson.
Wherever you are. See you later.
Home.
Watch and listen at thedailymojo.com.